Hi,
Hi Anna, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm
That's
a little
good.
tired.
Oh yes, girl, same, same.
Yes, so I wanted to ask you how you are doing in this time.
In this climate. I surprisingly I am doing okay. When we do hear of like incidences where Black people are killed, it kind of affects all of us. You know what I'm saying? But luckily, my mental health is not suffering at the moment. I'm doing pretty well. It's Sunday, so I'm gonna have a nice little self care Sunday, and just really focus on things that I can control versus things that I can't. So yeah, how are you doing today?
I am using all of my platforms, whether big or small, to do the things that I can do.
Yes.
But I know that you have been out there in these streets protesting. So,
Yeah.
how has that been?
I wish I could be spending my time doing something else, but the fact that this is reality and that Black lives aren't, seen of value, I have no choice but to be out there protesting. And there's no place I would rather be than to be protesting and fighting for what I believe in. But yeah, it's actually been really liberating to physically um, go and like be on the front lines and actually like trying to make a difference. There's like different forms of activism, and I feel like for me, um, as well as like posting on social media and stuff, I'm just the type of person who really has to like get out there. Like I want to be in the mix. You know what I'm saying? And I
Mhm.
don't know if I get that like that fiery spirit from like my ancestors, where they like, girl, you better get out there. You better
Yeah.
be on the front lines fighting. But it's actually been a real stress reliever. You work off a lot of anger when you're out there shouting and screaming and, just putting up a fight for those who have been senselessly murdered. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And also, like, just being in protest, you feel how much love, even though you're fighting against violence and brutality, you feel the love around you. We're fighting because we love one another. We're fighting because we don't want to see each other being killed. And we don't want to see people being discriminated against for their race, or we don't want people to just simply be tired, pull over, go to sleep in the car, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden they're dead in the next 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So just being in that environment is really empowering, and it lets you know that your voice can be heard. You're not just stuck in this system in society. There's ways to
Mhm.
liberate yourself and free yourself. So yeah.
Well, I must tell you, when you told me that you were going protesting, like the very first one in Atlanta,
Yeah.
I was like, Lord Jesus. I was on my hands and knees praying. I was like, no, no, like, cause that same one, I think, by the end of the day, like by nighttime, they were lighting cars on fire and
Yeah, girl, they tore that city up, honestly. And as they should, because you know what I'm saying? Like so my mom, she was especially worried, of course, she's gonna be worried about her black
yeah, yeah,
baby going down to protest against police brutality. But I just told her that like she was trying to convince me not to go, and I told her I have to go. I
mhm,
have no choice but to
mhm,
be there. I love you, mom. I respect you. You know what I'm saying? But for me, this will personally go against my beliefs and what I stand for if I'm not there. So I have to go. So I
mhm.
went.
And you are here
And
to tell the
yes,
tale.
and I'm here today. But also, for me, my intention is not to go and be, destructive or try to destroy. My purpose is to be heard. You know what I'm saying? So I go there to protest. I don't go to riot or throw bricks or burn stuff.
Mhm.
But I just go, to show my support because numbers do matter. So yeah.
Yeah.
So, I do want to ask, like, what are some of the ways that you have been, like, just showing your activism and just, like, showing your support for Black lives?
So I have been writing a lot, um, because I'm not physically out there protesting. So I've been writing a lot and just sharing what I know on my blog.
Yeah.
And ways that people can help. I have been signing all kinds of online petitions.
Oh my gosh, so many. I've been signing so many, like, you know, when the robot's like, are you a human?
Yeah, yeah, I have been doing that
Yeah.
and trying to stay informed while trying to not go crazy because I know that a lot of people are really saddened right now. So I even wrote a post about how to not let yourself get drowned in this sadness because it is sad. Um, and it's even more sad, I think, when people aren't standing with you when there's so much like um, there's just a lack of unity,
Yeah.
and that's disheartening. But
It's hard because a lot of people are, it's just like, a lot of people are like for the protesting, but against the looting. Some people are like for the looting because the protesting hasn't really been working. So just trying to get us all to figure out what is the next step is probably what I feel is going to be the biggest, it's going to be the hardest part of like having unity in the Black community, because we've been so displaced. We're all just so incredibly displaced. We don't know what's going to work now. We've been trying to be peaceful. That ain't working. We've been trying to be violent. That ain't working. So now we're just like, where do we go from here? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I actually was writing a post. I don't think you remember. We were together walking through the courtyard of Georgia State,
Uh-huh.
and there was this girl. Let me not talk about the girl. I don't know if she can remember. And she was like, she had like her board with like the names on it, and this girl was just crying and like screaming, and just everybody was kind of like, okay, we're going to class, or everybody was kind of just doing their own thing. And during that time, there were just all of these protests, all of these marches, and they were all extremely peaceful. That was like, what, 5 years ago?
Exactly.
And what has changed? What has happened?
Exactly. So I think now, like, it's getting to a breaking point where we've tried every other option, and now there is nothing left but to burn down stuff. There's no other option. What like people are like, oh well, looting isn't the answer, and rioting isn't the answer. Okay, well, Kaepernick, he tried to kneel and he tried to do it the peaceful way and to call attention to it, and he basically lost his career. And y'all said that every other Black person who ever kneels during the anthem should be put on the firing squad. So basically now protesting for Black people means you should be put on a firing squad and killed. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that was a peaceful protest. So it's like they constantly trying to tell us how to feel and how to act without physically being in our bodies and still not understanding where we are coming from. So if you're still not getting it, we're going to get to a point to where you will understand. And if that means buying only Black owned, or burning everything except Black owned businesses,
Except.
then so be it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. But I also feel like, and this is just my opinion, if
Mm-hmm.
somebody is going to go and steal a pair of shoes or whatever they steal, you know, it's not equivalent to a Black life. That shit
No,
can be replaced. Like a
exactly.
window can be replaced, a broken whatever, a car can be replaced.
Yes,
Okay.
but it's like material items are valued more than human life. Actually, like when I went to protest, I actually got in an argument with this man because he was like, "Oh wow," it was actually a Black man. He was like, "Oh wow, they're spray painting the CNN Center, you know, the red sign that sits right outside. And like, oh, they're spray painting it, blah 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 blah." I'm like, excuse my language, but I just said, "F that sign." You know what I'm saying? And he looked at me like, and I looked at him like, I was like, they can replace that sign, but George Floyd will not get his life back. And after that, he shut up. And guess what they did? They posted a picture the very next day after the protest of the sign being repainted. So the sign does not matter. He's talking about, oh, I like that sign. Oh, okay, well, I like George Floyd.
What?
I'd much rather have George Floyd here than care
I
about
like
this
your
sign.
sign. Yeah.
So, I mean, sir, what is of importance? You know what I'm saying? People are like, oh, y'all are breaking it. Y'all are just trying to one up and y'all are looting the Gucci store and looting Dior and looting all the malls and Walmart and Target. Okay, so what? We just had a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? People are hurting. People are suffering. They gave us $12,000 to cover us for 4 months. They don't want people to work. They want
1,200.
People have children.
Mm-hmm.
People have bills to pay. Landlords aren't canceling rent. Okay, y'all gave us $1,200.
I thought they were supposed to.
Well, no, they didn't. It was like only some landlords. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not gonna have like a national like pause on people paying rent and paying their mortgage and things like that, and you expect people
need to eat.
Yeah, exactly. And you think $1,200 is gonna cover us for 4 months? So no, I don't care if people go and steal some Gucci shoes so that they can go and resell them and pay their bills and feed their children. I don't care. Because you know what also happened during this pandemic? Billionaires got $400 billion richer during this pandemic. And what did the American people get? What did we get? Nothing. So how about we talk about them looting that $4 billion rather than small people out here looting Walmart? How about we talk about that? That's my argument when it comes to looting. How about y'all get these billionaires who are stealing from us rather than focusing on people who are trying to get some shoes out of the Gucci store?
Yeah.
Okay? Once y'all talk about that, then we can talk about Target and we can talk about Walmart. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just like people are hurting all around. And I think like a lot of the looting and rioting, of course, yes, it is for Black Lives Matter. But also I think like everyone is hurting right now. Like our whole nation is hurting, especially just.
And people are fed up. And here is another important part. When I see these videos, it's a lot of white folk in there.
Yeah.
Shit. So
there's also separate agendas and people who are trying to cover themselves in the Black Lives Matter movement, but they have a different agenda. Their agenda isn't to support the Black Lives Matter movement. They're using it as a cover to really do what they're trying to do. So if people have actually been paying attention, you will see that it's mostly white people breaking windows and setting buildings on fire. But of course, the media, they're not going to show you that part of it, which is why it's important for us to really be engaged in things outside of mainstream media, because even just trying to talk to my parents and showing them videos, they're like, oh, we would have never known this if you didn't just come and show us. And when I tell you, I get all my news from Twitter, I don't even watch mainstream news because there's nothing on there for me. There's nothing on there for me.
I mean, I was saying, I came home, and this is like maybe the second day after George Floyd died, and like my grandma is like, because she has her little like Alexa thing, and it gives her like news updates, right? Yeah. So she goes, those people over there are destroying New York. So I said, what? So she was just, here they're burning down everything, and I was like, I hope they burn it to the ground. And she's like, what do you mean? And it's like, you need to understand that if you aren't going to give us rights, why should we continue to live in peace?
Woo! Say that again.
No, but for real though, like,
yeah,
the world cannot continue as it was. And I really, really, really hope, because every other time, and how many names? I can't even remember. It's just been so many deaths. And all that happens is it's like a 2-week period maybe of just, uproar. And then it stops.
Yeah.
And it can't happen like that, where I don't think everybody, I hope you guys do not stop. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's the goal. And I feel the energy, and I feel like it's not going to stop anytime soon. I'm praying that it lasts, but right now in this moment, we are all about Blackness. We're all about Black unity. Juneteenth is coming up, and we are ready to show out and celebrate. You know what I'm saying? We're buying Black-owned businesses, Black restaurants, Black beauty, Black everything. Okay. So again, when it comes to like burning stuff and looting, Black people have built this whole nation. So I think if we built it, we have every right to destroy it. You know what I'm saying? We have every right to, our ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears are inside of these buildings.
I
Literally.
actually saw someone, I think it was Taraji P. Henson, she made a post, and it was like, this land is stolen. Like,
Yeah.
you came here and you stole this land from Native Americans, slaughtered them. I mean, how
Yeah.
much of the population is even Native Americans at this point? And then you brought, I don't know, thousands and millions of slaves. Um,
Stolen land built by stolen people.
yeah, and it's just
And I
ridiculous.
honestly, I feel like in a way karma is coming back for the US because you can't do so much all that destructiveness and all that just nastiness and that energy. It's gonna come back to you. You know what I'm saying? And this land has basically soaked up all of the evilness. You know, so now it's just time for karma to take its toll. And it's just ridiculous that we have, okay, I'm going off on another tangent. It's just ridiculous that we have these Karens out here trying to tell people to go back to their land and trying to tell people to go back to where they came from. When you are not even from here, sis. Look, Karen, you realize you're not a Native American, correct? I think they forget their history. Yeah. I think they forget. And also when people say that Black people can still feel the trauma of their ancestors is in their DNA. They said that
no, it's true.
Scientific evidence that the trauma that their ancestors felt is in their DNA. I wholeheartedly believe that.
I have I had a Vietnamese teacher at GSU, right? And she said, like, she was not around when the Vietnam War was happening. Like, maybe she was, like, she does not remember it happening, but she says that she has nightmares.
Yeah.
Of, like, from her grandparents' stories and everything. She has nightmares of what that was like. And to me, if that is not, like, telling enough, like, that's crazy.
I think a lot of us were more connected to our ancestors than we think, and their spirits kind of guide us and help us through life. So we definitely feel their traumas from their past and things of that nature. And I think how it affects us today is that, yes, Black people, they feel the trauma from their ancestors, but I feel like white people, they feel the energy that their ancestors had as well, which is why they can't fully connect to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Like, when Drew, like, you know how Drew Brees, he put out a statement saying, I won't tolerate anyone disrespecting the flag or disrespecting my country before he even said, rest in peace, George Floyd. Those were the first words out of your mouth before you even acknowledge the Black community and the Black players that you play with in every single game and who are on your team. So I think we have some sort of empathy and compassion because we know what it's like. We feel it in our blood. Whereas they only know how to deny. They only know how to destroy. They only know how to be selfish because that's all their ancestors have done from the beginning of time, from colonizing and.
You know, but I also feel like it's not that hard. You know what I mean? It's not that hard to not be racist.
Exactly. Which is why
I just feel like, because even, you know, I was sitting down there waiting, right? Blackout Tuesday. You literally did not have to do anything except post a black ass picture and put it on the Instagram.
Nothing else. Just shut up and
nothing. And I was sitting there waiting for, like, my white friends to post. And a couple of them did. I'm not gonna lie, a couple of them did. But there were a lot that I was just waiting, and I was checking, like, I was straight up, like, checking.
Yeah.
No post.
Not
and
one.
It's just like, that is just something so simple.
Just to say, hey, I love you, my Black friend. I support you, my Black friend. I'm here for you, my Black friend. Not even that. Not even just like the basic picture.
when you can't focus on what, so normally you do hair. That's the thing, you do hair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on my blog. I'm writing about hair care, skin care, ooh, weight loss, like like whatever.
Yeah.
This happened. I literally had maybe 10 other posts lined up
Mm-hmm.
about just yoga and this and that, and those things are all good and well, but I could not, like, I could not think about anything else. I was like, I would be being fake if I was to like put out like tips to whatever, like I could not focus on anything else. And it's just, it's so overwhelming, and you kind of realize that the world stopped.
Yeah, literally. Like it might have went on for non-black people, but for us, the world is kind of at a standstill.
I mean, even people who have friends who are real allies, people who have family members. I mean, and that's why, like, I will always respect Kim Kardashian, because I think she's at a point where she's like, I have these 4 brown babies, and I do not want them to grow up and see this nasty world. And so, yeah, she's not posting every single day about, whatever, but I am sure that she is
Doing her part.
doing behind the scenes stuff. Oh my God, I should talk about Kanye. Lord have mercy. Did you see that whole thing?
Yeah, I
Where
saw where he donated all that money. Yeah. And like 2 years ago, people was trashing him, which I was one of them.
same.
People
I
was
was one of
trashing him, calling him. But the thing is, what was his agenda doing that though? I guess I understood the free thinking thing, but also I didn't understand the MAGA hat. That part just kind
So
of.
he was saying that he would have never gotten in to get that man released from prison, whoever he got released from prison, without wearing the hat. And so he said, I'm gonna play that role,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can help these people that otherwise would not have been helped. It's only a call from the president would have been able to get these people out of jail or whatnot. That's how what happened, I gather. But I was shocked. Shocked.
I think a lot of people kind of have to like go undercover and like play both sides of the fence to actually be on the right side of history.
Yeah.
You know, so and Kanye, he's the case. So yeah. I guess for me, like when brands reach out to me to collaborate, we do have like certain timelines that they would like for stuff to be posted, and I think that for Black people, there's a lot of brands that are going to understand. They're going to be like, I completely understand. If you want to push this post back a week, that's completely fine. We get it. If you ever work with a brand that's like, no, this is the deadline, this is what it is, then you know what I'm saying, cut off ties. Because they need to understand. No, seriously, they need to understand the Black experience. They need to understand Black people's mental health and how there's other issues that are more important than your little product. You know what I'm saying? There's people out here dying. That's what really matters at this time. And I don't want to take attention away from what really needs to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Not posting was pretty easy for me. Even though I am an influencer and I have things that constantly need to be posted, but I think me having such a big platform, it says a lot when you don't post or when you're just
Or
don't
ignore it. Like, I think I saw one of your posts that was like hair, like it was how you did your hair for the protest.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, yeah, because that's what's happening now. And you
Yeah.
can't ignore that that's what's happening now. I mean,
Yeah.
and I hate feeling these feelings. I normally, straight up, like I don't have conversations. I don't usually. So I was like, okay, let me just write this out. And then I said, okay, I need to write something. And I sat down for 4 days trying to write something.
Yeah.
And then eventually something came, and it was good. But I couldn't write about anything else. So
Especially, and then also, it's like you open up your social media or you even go on your phone and that's literally all you see. There's no way to escape it. There's no time or room to think about anything else other than the Black life that was lost and how they're still not trying to give justice. So everything becomes, it's like for us, the world stops and everything else becomes secondhand. Yeah. And so I'm actually happy that we did have that blackout day. And I saw like some people were annoyed that my timeline is black. My timeline is black. Yeah. So what? It's one day out of 365.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To just show your appreciation for the Black community and to just acknowledge, not even understand, but to acknowledge their struggles. Because in a way, they'll never understand.
Yeah.
But to be able to acknowledge is to say, hey, I'm here with you, I support you, and I hear you. And I know there's something going on, and I'm not going to just be quiet about it. Yeah. And also, I think there is, with the election that is currently going on, for us, it's the lesser of the two evils. So, you know, the evilest of the evil is the person that's in there now. The less of the evil, who's still evil, but he's just not as evil, is the person we're trying to get in now, so we might possibly have a fighting chance. One thing in the Black community that really just irritates me is when people say, oh, my vote doesn't count, or my vote doesn't matter. It's like, okay, I respect your opinion. You can feel that way. But just in case it actually might make a difference, I think you should still vote. You know what I'm saying? Because we wouldn't have voter suppression if voting didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Even if you think, oh, it's just one vote, my vote doesn't count.
Yeah, but if you have 40,000 people saying that vote doesn't count, then it really does not count.
Yeah, then it really isn't going to. That's why your vote doesn't count. Because
I can't tell you the amount of people that have said that to me, like, oh, it doesn't matter if I vote because I live in Georgia.
Yes, I absolutely hate when people, I didn't vote. I just didn't think it mattered. Okay, but just in case it does matter and it does create change, I think it's pretty easy to just go and click a few buttons and change your children's future. You know what I'm saying? It's really not that hard to just get out and vote. If voting wasn't a big deal, you know what I'm saying? Stacey Abrams would be the governor of Georgia right now. You know what I'm saying? People wouldn't be standing in lines wrapped around the building in South Atlanta. Because,
you know, I was also thinking about too, if every single immigrant that had, like, that doesn't have citizenship, that just has a green card, could vote, they would vote.
Yeah, if they had like as long as you have like a permanent residence, a green card, you have whatever paperwork you need, that should be it. You should be able to vote. And also, for the Black community, a lot of Black people are in jail. Literally 50% of Black men are in prison, and then they cannot vote. And when they get out of prison,
for minor marijuana charges, like,
exactly. And then when they get out of prison, they still can't vote because they're felons. They're ex-felons. So then you take away 50% of the Black male vote. It's like, okay, voting matters. I want people to understand that voting matters. And if you don't think it matters, you should still vote anyways, because there just might be a chance that your vote actually matters. Okay? So please do not say voting doesn't matter. We do have the power, especially. I understand about like electoral college and the presidential election, but especially when it comes to your state officials and people who are in your county and representing you, your House of Representatives, all of that matters. Your vote directly counts. So don't say that your voting doesn't count, because Stacey Abrams was going to be governor, but Governor Kemp, I ain't gonna call him Governor Kemp suppressed our voters. So get out and vote. Please and thank you. Sometimes it just irritates me to know, like, these people really cheated their way into these positions.
No, because even like with Hillary, because I remember, you know they say you remember where you are when certain things in history happen.
Yes.
I remember it was Taste of the Caribbean, and I was dancing that night. And when the show started, she was in the lead.
Yeah.
And by the end of the night, when everybody was still watching it, she was no longer in the lead. And I said, she's gonna win. Went to bed, Woke up the next morning, checked my social media, and every single foreign person that I knew was like, suitcase packed and ready, I'm going home. Couldn't believe it. And honestly, I don't want to talk about anybody, but I know a number of people who you would have sworn would have, just voted Democratic, and they just didn't vote at all. They did not participate.
Yeah, definitely. Especially this previous election, for sure. It's a shame.
But November. And especially with a pandemic happening right now, and just, if we're being real, like, the system is not geared towards everybody being able to contribute. So like you were saying, voter suppression. So don't let, like, yes, they have built the system to make it even more difficult for a certain group of people to go out and vote, but don't let that stop you, because that's what they want to happen. So don't let that stop you.
Exactly. And even with you just saying that, that kind of registered in my brain how my parents, like, they didn't want me to go out and protest. I told my mom, they want us to stay home. They don't want us to go out there and protest and fight for our rights. So when you vote, keep that same energy. That is you on the front lines. Voting is you on the front lines, fighting for what you believe in. Voting is you trying to make a difference. Voting is you fighting for your freedom and for your future. So don't just shove it aside and think, oh, my one little vote isn't going to hurt any, my one little not vote isn't going to hurt anybody, when really it is. You're contributing to the larger problem. So growing up in the U.S. and knowing that there was a difference, but not truly understanding, what that difference meant, not really knowing how much that difference puts my life in jeopardy, that wasn't realized until the Trayvon Martin case. So how old was I? I'm pretty sure I was in middle school. Oh, I went to a predominantly white middle school. I was like one of 12 Black students. Literally like one of 12 Black students. Trayvon Martin case, he gets killed. I'm like, okay, perfect. Boom, lock Zimmerman up, because clearly Trayvon is a 15-year-old boy. 15-year-old boy, and this grown man who's not even a police officer, who has zero authority except to say he's neighborhood watch, killed this man. This is clearly murder, right? You would think justice, cool. The trial comes around. I'm alone in my room. How old am I? What, like 13, 14? How old are you in middle school? 13, somewhere around 13 years old. And they say not guilty. And at that moment, there was just tears flowing out of my eyes. Like, I honestly just could not believe that they did not lock this man up for killing Trayvon Martin. And he's still out there today, freely just being around. That was the first time that I knew there was a problem. And that was the first time that I kind of felt like a rage inside. I felt almost like stuck, as if like I just didn't understand. I just couldn't see past how it's so clear in front of me. But then that's when I first realized that this is not a place for me. The system was not built for me. The judicial system is not built for justice for Black people. You know what I'm saying? George Zimmerman, in his white privilege, allowed him to get away with cold-blooded murder. And that was the first time that I kind of felt like, okay, well, what can I do? Like, what is my part in this now? Because I actually see it firsthand that this is what's going on. I'm at an age where I can actually understand and comprehend what's going on, and I don't like it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that one, I think I found out about that case way after it had happened, like as an adult. But I wasn't. Your mind wants to tell you that the world isn't a nasty place, and that, you just don't want to believe the things that you're hearing, so you don't pay attention. I was not paying attention. I was like, okay, well, I'm Jamaican. I'm gonna go home at the end of all of this, like, whatever. And then it just became clear to me that it's everywhere, regardless of whether you want to admit it or not. And this this incident is really what hit me. Like George Floyd, like that is when I broke down. I mean, throughout college, I was becoming more vigilant and everything, but even Ahmad was the beginning of
Yeah.
this. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, that they need to, they need to arrest these men, like, upset. And then they did. And so I was like, okay, justice. And then now, well, not even justice, because I don't know, have they even been charged? Have they been put in?
Not yet. The trial's still going on, yeah.
Yeah. And then George Floyd, and I said, I just could not take it anymore. And I actually, I cried. There were just days at work when I was just.
I did too. Because you can't help it. You just can't help it.
I don't know anybody in this man's family. I don't know, but it was just like, I just wept. Like, not cute, pretty tears, like, bawled.
Just like, girl, I feel you so much. Just bawling, crying, saying, I'm so sorry. That's what I said. I'm so sorry. That's all I could say. Because just to see that video and to just see the way that they 8 minutes, 8 minutes. Really?
To this day, I have not watched that entire video because I just cannot get through it. I just refuse to put my brain, like I refuse to just see that.
Yeah, it's just traumatizing to constantly see Black bodies being killed and them not caring at all, not giving a single damn. So,
and I think a lot about the people who recorded that, because I feel like it was like more than one person that recorded it. And I just wonder, like, how are you doing? Like, are you okay? Because you saw somebody, the breath leave somebody's lungs.
It's just so crazy, right? And you can't do anything about it. And a lot of people, I know the girl who posted the video, the first video of him, being murdered, she was a 17-year-old little Black girl. And people were kind of sending her threats saying, why didn't you jump in? Why didn't you stop them? How is a 17-year-old Black girl going to stop 4 police officers from kneeling on this man's
She
neck?
would have been dead too, like.
Exactly. What it is, so when I went to the protest, they say there's something that they're trying to enforce where it's police the police. Every time there's a Black person being pulled over, we need to all collectively, you know what I'm saying, a group of people go and make sure that they're okay and that the interaction with the police is what it is. And then once they leave, everyone disperses. So we need to police the police and make sure that they're doing what's right. But a 17-year-old Black girl, she can't police the police on her own. You know what I'm saying? So I was going to say, if everyone in the community had came out of their businesses for 5 seconds just to stop these men and say, what are you doing? Look at this man, which I'm sure they did, but.
Because there were a lot of people out there from what I could tell.
Yeah, but people aren't going to be, I guess policing the police is basically fighting the police. When you see them killing someone, fight them, basically. And so, 4 officers against 30 people coming at them, trying to get them off this Black man's neck, they're going to run away or they're going to stop.
I feel like I'm trying to think in that scenario, like,
what can you do?
Started like doing backflips and somersaults or something to like get their attention away from this child and not die herself. Like what?
Yeah.
Like what do you even do? Do you that way you start screaming? Like what do you do?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I have no idea what I would do.
No idea.
And then you're fearing for your life as well.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, like I see Black people get pulled over all the time, and it takes everything in me not to stop. Literally, it takes everything in me not to stop and just say, hey, are you okay? Would you like me to stay until he leaves? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I don't know what the officer could say to me. I don't know what he could do to me, or you know what I'm saying? So I have to protect myself as well. It's not that I don't care, but also, you know what I'm saying? We're all trying to stay alive at the same time, while also trying to check on each other and make sure each other's okay and we're not being beaten up and killed. You know what I'm saying? So it's just hard. You can't really tell anyone what to do or what they should have done in that moment. You don't know what to do when you see a man on the street dying and it's
And you're in shock. You're scared. You're like, I don't know.
Exactly. But George, yeah, it's surprising to me that that this was like the first breaking point for you, like with the George Floyd thing, because just for me, like my first time, like my breaking point, like I knew Trayvon, there was a difference between Black people, you know what I'm saying, and like Black people aren't going to get justice in this community or in this country. But for me, it was Freddie Gray. That was the story where I was just like, okay.
Because like I wasn't, so mind you, when I came to the States, I was 16. Well, for school, I was 16, and like I went to a private Catholic school.
Yeah.
I was maybe one out of like 7, 8 Black kids. Very extremely sheltered. Everybody there just
loving. Telling me that you went to a Catholic private school.
It was just very like, you know. And of course, like you'd have the little ignorant comments every now and again, but I never felt.
You never thought it could result in like the end of your life.
Yeah, no, never. And then so my impression of white people was not negative. You know, my house moms were white and they were just, I was a part of the family basically. And so when I came out into the, you know, the real world in, you know, hot Atlanta and all of this stuff started happening, I was like, well, these are some bad white people. Like, they're just bad. Because, you know, and I didn't want to think it was this systematic problem, but Jesus.
But it makes sense, though. It makes sense that I think for me, George Floyd was the first protest that I've been a part of, because I'm like at that age now where I can like make decisions on my own, actually drive down there and go march in the streets. Whereas Freddie Gray, you know, I was in college, but also it happened in the summertime and I was with my parents and they just really I didn't have a car, so I had no way to like, you know, go out and protest and like actually be there in the scene and stuff.
And I also feel like in college, we were, how do I put this? We were just like, we knew it was bad and we would talk about it and we would discuss it, but then we kind of just go do college stuff, like go to parties and like, you know what I mean? We're chilling with our friends. It wasn't so heavy.
Yeah.
It was heavy because
it was heavy.
We would see it happening. Like we would walk past the protests on our way to class. Like you couldn't hide from it, but it was kind of just like we were still just going about our lives and everything. And I think also with COVID, we hate the disease, we hate the virus, we don't like it, but people are not at work. People have time. People are like tired. Yeah, people are tired. And because people have all of this time on their hands, they're like, all right, well, let's fight for something.
Mm-hmm. Right. My job is closed, so I'm going to put my efforts towards other stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say, like, I don't know how, like, you could be a white person and still try to deny that this is not happening. You know what I'm saying? Or still try to blame it on rioting, or you only care about the rioting, but you don't care about what led to the rioting. You care about the Gucci store and what was looted, but you don't care why it was looted and why the Gucci store was into.
And what's so funny to me also is that the owners of these businesses don't seem concerned.
They aren't concerned, but yet us Black people are concerned.
They don't seem concerned. Like, did CNN come out and say, "Oh, you should not have done this" to the CNN sign? Like, did CNN make a statement about that?
Not at all. You know what? Actually, Target CEO, he came out and said, I don't care about the Target. George Floyd is dead, and that's what we should be focusing on. So I commend the CEO of Target. He said exactly what he was supposed to say. He said, I don't care about Target or none of that stuff. I don't care about the looting. I don't care about burning. I don't care about none of it. George Floyd was murdered, and that is what we need to focus on. Target will be okay. Target can be rebuilt. These products, there's products for days, okay? Nothing that was stolen that cannot be replaced. What was stolen was George Floyd's life.
Oh, did you see Serena Williams' husband?
Oh, yes, I saw that.
That is an ally. Okay, if you need an indicator of what an ally is, like, my goodness.
Yeah.
And I just feel like he just did the right thing. Like, he did the right thing. Like,
right.
And I was surprised.
That is truly being an ally, and that is truly acknowledging your white privilege and looking around and saying, there's not enough people that don't look like me sitting at this table, so I'm going to give up my spot so that a Black person can sit here because a Black voice is needed. That is truly using your white privilege. He knows he's set for life. You know what I'm saying? He's made all his money. He has no reason to be there anymore. He was the co-founder. It's on its way. It's all set up. It's good to go. Now put some Black people in here so that we can have a Black voice. And that's the best act I've seen of an ally so far.
Yeah. I'm sure there are other people doing doing things behind the scenes. But yes, it was good to see that. I was happy to see. I was like, Serena, girl, you did well,
girl. So, another form of activism that has really been helping the movement, especially with Black lives and getting justice for people, are petitions. Signing petitions, even though it seems so basic to just sign your name and then be on your way, but even you just taking 2 seconds to sign your name really does make a difference. And so many things have been passed. So many laws have come into fruition. So many cases have been opened back up just from people constantly signing petitions and pressing their government officials to, do what's right. So keep signing those petitions, y'all.
We will link some petitions below. The petitions have reached their quota, so like a lot of them say their goal is 3 million. But when you go check, it's like 3 million or 4 million people have signed their names. But yeah, actually, the petition for the officer to be charged with second-degree murder, I believe that is what made the degree of murder be escalated to second-degree murder. It was from a petition, yeah. So they're important. And donate. I know a lot of organizations will like pay for lawyers, bail money for protesters and stuff. So that's what a lot of that money goes to. So definitely donate, and help in any way that you can. Educate people.
Definitely, because this is an ongoing fight. As y'all know, there was another murder in Atlanta just yesterday or the day before. So this is an ongoing fight. They clearly have no plans to stop killing us. So yes, continue to sign these petitions. Continue to donate your money. We are in this fight for the long haul, and we're not going to stop. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to die down. Continue to buy Black. Continue to hug and support your Black friend if you are not Black. Continue to show up. Numbers do count when it comes to protesting. Make sure you just stay safe. Like Anna said, there are bail funds. There are some for different states. So we're going to try and put as much information in the description of this video so that you guys can just simply click a link and it takes you exactly where you need to be.
Right now, I'm trying to stay sane. And looking after my mental health. I'm very concerned about my friends' mental health, especially people who are in the US. Like, it is a very difficult time. And so I made a post about how we can continue to, yes, still be active, still stay informed, but also, take care of yourself. And so definitely go check that out on my blog, annamalyy.com.
Yes, I hope everyone is taking care of their mental health as well. I will also be taking care of my mental health today, doing a little self-care, and I hope you guys do the same. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I know we kind of got off on tangents, but that's kind of what happens when you're speaking from a place of passion and you truly want your, it's coming from a place of passion and emotion. So you just kind of start spitting stuff out because it ignites a fire in you. So I hope this podcast was easy for y'all to get through. I'm going to edit it to the best of my ability so that it all makes sense. But yes, thank you guys so much for tuning into our second podcast. And again, comment if you want to talk about any other topics. We'll be happy to come back on and, just sit and talk and have our friendly discussions that we have. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you in the next one.